said leave. I want to be alone.
You tumia chakula.
Kufanya nini? Sikuelewi.
Na umesema dad ni kama amerogwa na kama you tumia chakula.
Would you like somebody who killed your own mother? Fiona, who told you that?
Kama uko tayari, wakati utakuwa tayari, utanitafuta na mimi nitakupa majibu ya kila swali unalo.
Liwa mtoto wetu Joyce ndio wachwe hii nyumba. Wewe angalie uone.
My name is Salim Mvuria, the Cabinet Secretary, Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports. And I want to tell all Kenyans, Chan is here with us. I want to invite you to Kasarani so you can rally our Harambee Stars team. The tickets are affordable, 200, 500, 1,000. Harambee Stars is playing, Kenya is playing. Let's meet at Kasarani. Tuko pamoja.
A minute to the top of the hour. We are coming to you live from Broadcasting House in Nairobi, Kenya. This is Prime Edition in the highlights. The government defends terrorism charges preferred against suspected destroyers of public installations. Activist Boniface Mwangi is released on a 1 million shilling personal bond after denying illegally possessing ammunition.
Judiciary will continue to defend the integrity of the electoral process, the independence of the judiciary, and to foster public confidence in judicial adjudication of electoral disputes.
Ensuring electoral integrity, Judiciary launches operational plan. Judo Kenya Federation President Shadrack Maluki is the new National Olympic Committee of Kenya President. A very warm welcome to the broadcast. Our socials at KBC Channel 1 on X, Facebook and YouTube. Our sign language expert tonight is Anne Wangeshi. I am Muchuma Odim. My colleague Tom Boyer is away tonight. Looking forward to see him tomorrow, inshallah. And we begin this broadcast with our lead story. The Director of Public Prosecutions has defended the decision to prefer terrorism charges on suspects arrested for torching and looting public installations during the June and July protests. ODPP saying the charges under the Prevention of Terrorism Act should be understood within the framework of established legal thresholds and national security imperatives rather than interpreted as efforts to suppress legitimate political expression, sentiments supported by Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen. This story begins our coverage tonight by Giverson Maina.
The Director of Public Prosecutions on Monday responded to the criticism by opposition leaders and the civil society organizations that terrorism laws were being used to settle political scores and silence dissenting voices of Kenyans seeking good governance. In a statement, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions noted it had acknowledged the ongoing national discourse sparked by recent legal actions following the protests of 25th June 2025 and 7 July 2025. ODPP saying the charges under the Prevention of Terrorism Act should be understood within its context and not mere face value of seeking to achieve political ends. ODPP further noted that preliminary investigations indicate that attacks on public offices was aimed to cripple essential government operations and still fear erode public trust in democratic institutions. Justifying the charges, ODPP also quoted Chief Justice Martha Koome remarks describing torching of Kikuyu law courts as not merely an act perpetrated by criminal elements, but an act of terrorism.
In our law and in our practice, and we must address that gap so that this right to picket, to assemble, to demonstrate is not taken advantage of by criminal elements. It's not taken advantage of by terrorists.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Muchuma Murkomen said those lamenting should read the law.
I want all the people who are challenging DCI and DPP about why we have charged those people under the Act, Anti-Terrorism Act, to show me if they have read the definition of what is terror and what is terrorism. And then challenge us if that is not the right section too.
Murkomen adding that the government will go for all those who cause chaos, including their financiers. Tens of views linked to destruction of property during Sabasaba protests are now facing terrorism charges. Giverson Maina, Prime Edition.
Onto the corridors of justice, activist Boniface Mwangi has been released on a personal bond of 1 million shillings after pleading not guilty to 2 counts of unlawful possession of ammunition without a valid firearm at the Kahawa Law Court. Principal Magistrate Gideon Kiage said pre-trial directions will be issued in 2 weeks.
Following his arrest on Saturday evening at his home in Lukenya, Machakos County, Boniface Mwangi was presented at Kahawa Law Court. And like earlier indicated by DCI officers that he will be charged for facilitating terror during the recent June 25th nationwide demonstrations, Mwangi was charged with 2 counts unlawful possession of ammunition and having 3 tear gas canisters. With Kahawa being a court that handles terrorism cases, his lawyers urged the court to transfer the case to Milimani Local since the charges are not terrorism related.
The accused person may be set at liberty upon securing a personal bond of 1 million shillings with 1 surety of a similar amount.
Pre-trial directions will be issued in a fortnight.
All along between, so I was arrested at Lukenya. When I go to the office, they said, you're not under arrest. They're just going to search your office, then we let you go. Then after they searched, they said, oh, no, you're under arrest. I'm like, for what?
We do not agree with the violation of the Constitution. We do not agree to the violation of the rule of law.
And a Kibera Law Court has ordered for the production of medical records in 3 days for Kennedy Kalombotole, who is the prime suspect of 2 murders at the Kenyatta National Hospital.
Any attachment in terms of a file, it's supposed to be something that can brief you, that can bring you up to speed. This is a handwritten document.
The Director of Criminal Investigation had asked Deputy Registrar Daisy Mutai to allow 21 days detention for Kalombotole to allow completion of investigations.
As he has been a patient at Kenyatta National Hospital, he is well known and likely to interfere with our investigations, including the recording of statements from key personnel who are there on the 17th.
The court will give its ruling for detention on Thursday, 24th July, after perusing medical records from Kenyatta and Nairobi Women's Hospital.
Let me also get a report from Nairobi Women's Hospital, Hurlingham branch, as to the treatment of the suspect up until now. This will help the court to make an informed decision on the matter.
Elsewhere, 5 individuals linked to the murder of 24-year-old Angela Muthoni were arraigned at the Olkalau locals. The presiding magistrate Lina Tamba granted the prosecution's request of 14 days to finalize their probe. The suspects expected to be presented in court again on Monday, August 11, when they will be required to take plea. 4 of the 5 accused were allegedly involved in helping the main suspect, Alex Ndungu, transport the lifeless body of Angela Muthoni.
We as family, we are still mourning and traumatized by the death and what caused the death. From this side of our family, we just need justice. We need justice for Angela Muthoni.
And 11 people arrested for allegedly engaging in cultic activities at the Binzaru village near the infamous Shakahola area in Kilifi County were on Monday arraigned before Malindi Law Court. No charges were preferred against them as the DCI officers in a miscellaneous application requested the court to give detectives 30 days to allow them to complete the investigations. Ruth Wamboi for Prime Edition.
Meanwhile, and onto a story we highlighted for you at the beginning of this broadcast, Chief Justice Martha Koome has warned that hate speech and organized gangs should be stopped, terming them a recipe for chaos in the 2027 general election. Koome, who reaffirmed the judiciary's commitment to strengthening Kenya's electoral justice architecture, also cited emerging technologies as glaring challenges that require urgent interventions. Kamchemenza tells us more.
The judicial system has started putting its house in order in preparation for arbitration of electoral disputes ahead of and during the 2027 general elections.
Every election cycle introduces new complexities, from technological advancements to emerging threats to electoral integrity.
During the launch of the Judiciary Committee on Elections, state organs and partners flagged recent hate speeches by politicians as time bombs that need urgent intervention.
Statements being made openly and without shame by persons elected under oath to defend the Constitution to effect that they sense a challenge in the next election and simply cover it by saying we will steal the vote.
The National Crime Center report that there are over 300 criminal gangs that are operating in this country, and they are unleashing violence, especially during these political meetings. This, coupled with hate speech, tells us that we really need to reflect on the challenges that we are facing and that are going to be manifested during the 2027 cycle.
To implement its 4-year plan, Judiciary will require 903 million shillings, even as it only has 15 million shillings at its disposal this financial year.
JLAC will champion the judiciary's electoral preparedness, budgetary needs before the House and support the implementation of all necessary reforms.
The funding aspect was also termed paramount for the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission amid the pending by-elections, which Attorney General Dorcas Oduor implored the judiciary to intervene.
I realize there is a challenge because a writ was issued by Parliament which required that by-elections be conducted within 90 days. The 90 days have elapsed, and that is an area that will need advice, and rightly or wrongly might end up going to court for some interpretation.
While handing over the mantle of the committee to Lady Justice Njoki Ndung'u, Supreme Court Judge Justice Mohammed Ibrahim called for reforms, including expanding the bench from 7 to 9 members.
In 2013,
we had a very delicate situation whereby we were only 6 judges during the election petition, the hearing. Supposing there was a crisis in 2013 and there was a tie, which risk was there? You can imagine what could have happened.
The operational plan has not just been termed as a roadmap, but a blueprint for the judiciary to defend the integrity of the electoral process. Kamchemenza for Prime Edition.
From elections operational plan to Health Watch, only 60% of infants under 6 months are exclusively breastfed, with only 60% breastfed after the first hour of birth. According to the Ministry of Health, this is attributed to stigma, cultural beliefs, inadequate maternal health information, and the availability of breast milk substitutes. Mothers have been encouraged to exclusively breastfeed their young ones for 6 months and continue for 2 years and beyond after weaning, as reported by Kasichana Masha.
According to health experts, breast milk contains nutrients required for healthy growth and development of a human being in the first 6 months of life. It also helps to prevent non-communicable diseases, reduces risk of childhood obesity, and prevents the risk of breast cancer among mothers.
This breast milk has so many benefits that have stood the test of time to remain on top as white gold, as fast immunization, and as a lot more things.
However, according to the 2022 Kenya Demographic Survey report, only 60% of infants under the age of 6 months are breastfed exclusively, a slight drop from 61% in 2014.
And 60% of newborns are breastfed within the first hour of birth. These figures show no improvement from 2014 and highlight the urgent need to address persistent barriers and inequalities in breastfeeding practices across regions and social groups.
At a media sensitization meeting ahead of World Breastfeeding Week set for 1st to 7th August 2025, health stakeholders cited stigma, inadequate maternal health information, cultural beliefs, and the aggressive marketing of breast milk substitutes as reasons.
We have the BMS Act, actually referred to as the Breast Milk Substitutes Regulation and Control Act of 2012. According to the Kenyan law, this was actually enacted to regulate the marketing and distribution of breast milk substitutes and also to promote breastfeeding and proper infant and young child feeding.
When we invest 1 shilling in disease prevention and health promotion, we save upwards of 9 shillings that would have gone into treatment, rehabilitation, and palliative care. We have to bring down the cost of healthcare. The way we are doing it in this part of the world, healthcare is too expensive. We cannot afford it, however much we try.
This year's theme being prioritized breastfeeding, create sustainable support systems. A clarion call has been made to workplaces to create lactation centers for mothers to continue breastfeeding after the lapse of maternal leave. At the same time, health facilities have been asked to implement baby-friendly hospital initiative. So far, only 1,500 facilities have complied. Kasichana Masha, Prime Edition.
Kenya is exploring vocational training opportunities in Germany for development of skills that meet international job requirements. Labour Principal Secretary Shadrach Mwadime says the bilateral labour agreements signed between Kenya and Germany in September last year is being fast-tracked for the benefit of both parties. He spoke upon return from leading a Kenyan delegation to Germany on operationalization of the bilateral labour agreements. Yusuf Farah compiled these reports.
My call to action for the youth is to realize that there are opportunities we cannot waste that are opening up. It is true the most ideal situation is for Kenyans to work within their own economy. But we must be true to the fact that our economy has not expanded as much as we would wish it to. The kind of skills that we impart upon our young people, do they meet the demands of the German labor market. That is one of the critical issues. And indeed, we have agreed that there may be need for trainers of TOTs, to come over to Kenya and train other trainers so that they can be able to impart the knowledge that is required in terms of the skills that are expected in Germany.
We're looking for high motivated young people who want to achieve such a vocational training for around about three years. We need therefore German language and a good school education and a good mindset and the interest in Germany and to be a part of our society and our economy.
From Kenyan labor concerns to developments in the county of Kilifi in regards to women empowerment. A woman has been elected for the first time as the Speaker of the Kilifi County Assembly. Catherine Kenga garnered 48 out of the 51 votes cast, defeating 4 competitors. Kenga said she is equal to the task owing to the experience she acquired while serving in different positions, including as acting Kilifi County Secretary. Take a look.
Kilifi County Assembly on Monday. The supporters of the immediate former acting county secretary and former CEC for roads, Catherine Kenga, are celebrating a win not only as the first woman speaker of the Kilifi County Assembly, but also in the entire coastal region. Kenga defeated Tendai Lewa, Shadrach Mwachiru Mazera, Ruben Katana and Faith Zawadi to clean the post.
Happiness is an understatement. I think I'm more than happy.
Excited women supporters termed Kenga's win as a milestone in women leadership in the county.
We are very happy that we are having a new speaker who is a lady. So ladies also can do. Tumefurahi kwa maana wamama pia wanaweza.
The new speaker said she was ready for the new role.
We have our legislative role. We have our oversight role that we will take with the seriousness that it deserves. And above all, the staff, their welfare, their well-being, even for the members, is paramount in my administration.
The election was held following the impeachment of Teddy Mwambire by members of the County Assembly last month. Tilio Marco for Prime Edition.
Glad you're watching Prime Edition. We are taking our first commercial break. Coming up, much more, including business and sports, with the detail and clarity you deserve. Stay with us.
In a country as diverse as ours, every voice matters. From the highlands of Kericho to the coast of Lamu, from the hustle of Nairobi to the heart of Turkana, Kenya is talking. But are we listening? What if we paused and truly heard one another? Transgenerational Conversations isn't just a talk show. It's a national mirror, a bridge between the old and the young, between heritage and hope, between 47 counties and one shared destiny. It's time to talk. It's time to listen. And it's time to transform. Transgenerational Conversation, this Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Live from Catholic Social Hall, Marsabit Town, Marsabit County. Brought to you by KBC Channel 1, NCIC, UNDP, and Korea International Cooperation Agency.
Wakenya wenzangu, this August, something big is happening. Chan 2024 is here, and Harambee Stars are ready to shine. Let us come together and support our boys as they fight for glory. Tune in to KBC Channel 1 and let's cheer our boys. Because when Harambee Stars win, Kenya wins. Twende kazi, Team Kenya, all the way.
Live from Broadcasting House, Nairobi, Kenya.
KBC English Service.
Welcome to Beat Time Show, the very best of the 80s and 90s. Me, John Korani, JK.
Timeless music hits across the decades.
This is the place to be after you've had a tough day. Here we celebrate love and life.
Don't believe me, just watch. The sound of KBC English Service.
I'm your host Caroline Wangishi, Karo Gatata Mashero.
My name is Geoffrey Mongai.
News, information and entertainment. KBC English Service, Kenya's official national radio.
Thank you for staying with us. Continue talking to us on all our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1 on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Now, Nairobi City County government plans to penalize homeowners who bar meter readers access to water meters. Acknowledging challenges in accessing water meters by rogue homeowners, Governor Johnson Sakaja said the county government is also planning to relocate water meters outside the gates and sensitize customers to self-read their meters. Gishuki Washira compiled this report.
Governor, as to what you are doing as an entity, and then you say progressively engineer that in the next 5 years or so we will have phased out this issue of estimating meters. And I've never had anyone in this day and age running away from technology that will help you to be able to resolve your problem. So I was a bit shocked, Governor, that it is the thinking of the Nairobi County government that technology is bad. That you would not advise people to adopt technology.
Yes, we believe in technology. Chair, that is how we've raised the highest revenue of Nairobi Water. He's told you about the GIS. I have a dashboard. I can tell what everyone is paying every day from across the city, you know. But before I got into office, they had only hit 8.9 billion. First year we did 10.5. This last year you've done what, 12.13? 11.8 billion. You know, it's going up, and that is our intention. But it can only go up when you're prudent in the decisions you make. You don't just do it for the whims that it sounds nice to do 1, 2, 3. Those are management decisions. The Ministry of Defense alone owes us 121 million shillings. The police, 112 million shillings. Sports and culture, 22 million shillings, and so on and so forth. I can give you that detail. The water service providers of Kiambu is what I've listed there. That comes to 449 million shillings. Public schools, 168 million shillings, all to Nairobi Water. Transport Ministry, etc. Correctional, the jails, all 81 million shillings. And so that's also another area that we would want to work together.
The late Dr. Phoebe Asiyo has been eulogized as a courageous leader who championed women's rights and pushed for their inclusion at decision-making tables. Speakers at a memorial service in her honor held in Nairobi. Women leaders described her as a trailblazer who paved the way for a new generation to challenge the status quo.
Okay.
The Maendeleo ya Wanawake organization paid a glowing tribute to the late Dr. Phoebe Asiyo, who died on the 17th of this month, aged 93. Speaking during the event in Nairobi, Maendeleo ya Wanawake organization chairperson Brehab Muyu described the late Dr. Asiyo as a courageous leader whose advocacy opened doors for many women.
Today we pause to remember her as a pioneer of the women's movement in this country, Kenya. A fearless voice that spoke when others remained silent, and a towering figure whose leadership helped shape the cause of women's participation in public life.
Personally, want to say that the government should recognize the women of Kenya and give Mama Phoebe Asiyo the befitting state funeral.
Sentiments echoed by MP Kabondo Kasipul Eve Obara, who underscored the significance of protecting the gains women have made in politics and leadership.
And when we have more women, I think people will begin to appreciate that it is good that there should be more women in the political space.
We are closer to that, but Muchuma sitting in Parliament, I think we are coming now closer to actualizing the two-thirds.
The women leaders said time had come for a dedicated area to be set up within the city for a monument to honor women who have made great contributions to the fabric of this nation. Doreen Arange for Prime Edition.
It was a moment of joy at Kapilat Village, Elgeyo Marakwet County, after a poor widow who had lived in a dilapidated house for more than 10 years, received a new, fully furnished house from the community and well-wishers. 40-year-old Sally Cheptanui Kotut, a mother of 5, had been living in a leaking wooden shack situated in a swampy area where she and her children endured cold nights and wet floors. Her difficult life touched the hearts of villagers who led an effort to build her a better home. And here is that report.
For over 10 years, Sally Cheptanui Kotut, a widow, and her 5 children have been living in a wooden ramshackle situated in a swampy area in Kapilat Village in Elgeyo Marakwet County. The structure, which was infested with insects, had no proper roofing and often leaked during rainy seasons, forcing the family to endure cold nights.
Huyu mama alikuwa anakosa hata kitu ya kukula, hata akikosa kitu ya kukula hawezi sema, kama paka sisi wenyewe tukuje paka hapa tuone hali yenye anapitia. Unaweza fika wakati juzi kwanza, wakati mvua ilikuwa inanyesha kabisa, mvua kubwa. Ulikuwa ukifika kwa hii nyumba maji inapita chini hivi na amekata mtaro, unampata anahakisha mwanangaambia seli. Sasa si ungejaribu hata uende uombe basi hata uishi kwa hapa, kuna manyumba zingine hapa, kaniambia sasa sina hiyo pesa.
Her plight touched the hearts of residents and well-wishers who came together to construct a house and fully furnish it, offering the family a new beginning.
Leo nataka nishukuru nyinyi, nasema asante. Na huyu mheshimiwa nitaambia yeye asante, na hiyo watu walikuwa wanakuja na yeye, nitaambia yeye asante. Hawa asante. Mungu awabariki.
During the house handover ceremony, the village erupted in songs, dance and prayer as they celebrated the power of unity and the small acts of kindness in transforming lives.
Ni ombi langu kwa yeyote ambaye ataweza, sana sana waziri wetu Kipchumba Murkomen, tuko na PS wetu Chris Kipto na viongozi wengine wote wa kaunti yetu ya Elgeyo Marakwet, kama wanaweza, kwa sababu tofauti na nyumba hii, huyu mama anahitaji pia chakula, anahitaji bado kusaidia watoto wadogo. Kama ingewezekana mtoto mmoja wa boma hii, tushikie kijana huyo ndio aweze kuwa baraka kwa familia hii, aweze kuja kushikilia familia hii, waweze kuendeleza shughuli nyingine.
Martine Maslin for Prime Edition.
Let's now take you to the counties. Panic has engulfed Kakamega Boys High School following the sudden death of a Form 3 student, David Owino Odwor, who collapsed and died while playing football with his classmates on Sunday evening. In a statement, the school's headmaster, Julius Mambili, confirmed the student collapsed unexpectedly during the game and was rushed to Kakamega General Hospital, where he was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. Details on this and other stories making headlines in our county news roundup.
It was a somber mood at Kakamega Boys High School following the death of David Owino, a Form 3 student who collapsed and died during a football game. While the exact cause of death has not yet been determined, initial reports suggest that the student may have had an underlying heart condition.
Kulingana na rekodi zetu za zahanati, ni kijana ambaye amekuwa na afya ambaye ni nzuri. Hata tulipoangalia rekodi yetu kwa admission register, hakuwa na shida yote.
Those who were playing together, they were alleging that the boy had headed a high ball, and having jumped high, he came down and fell, and that is when he became unconscious and he was rushed to hospital. It was around 12:30. The report was made at around 15:05. His parents had been informed of the same, as the body was preserved in Kakamega General Referral hospital.
Elsewhere, Machakos County Executive for Health, Justus Kasivu, has raised concerns over the delays in receiving one-time passwords for the Social Health Authority due to network issues, which in turn hinders timely access to medical services.
Kuna changamoto wakati tunaenda kwa mahospitali yetu ya SHA. Ya kwanza, mara unapata systems za SHA ziko chini na inachukua muda wakati watu wanahudumiwa, na hiyo tumeongea na magavana wetu through COG, na najua anazungumza na ministry na SHA ndio hiyo maneno ya system iweze kurekebishwa.
Still on matters health, the Secretary General of the Kenya National Union of Nurses, Seth Panyako, has proposed that the national government take full responsibility for funding health insurance, particularly for vulnerable members of society who are unable to afford it.
Naambia rais, hawa mama ni wachane, hawa marikuru, hawa area elders ambao hawana kazi, inatakana SHA iwe free kwao.
Meanwhile, members of the County Assembly from Nakuru County have raised alarm over what they term as the misuse of Directorate of Criminal Investigations officers to harass leaders perceived to be aligned with former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua.
DCI ni kitego ambacho should be very professional. Ikiabiwa kitu lazima kwanza ichuguze. Na DCI should not be at an institution of consuming information that it has not filtered.
For Prime Edition, I'm Christine Matunda.
On to our Monday segment, the Cabinet. In 1980, President Daniel Moi appointed former magistrate and State Counsel Joseph Kamere as Kenya's third Attorney General. During his tenure, the Criminal Law Bill was passed, giving birth to the Criminal Procedure Code, which, among other things, stipulated a jail term for anyone giving false statement to the police. The Attorney General's office also set up the Law Review Commission that came up with the succession law on inheritance. And that is our focus tonight in a report compiled by Ben Troy Njue.
Born in 1926 in Kiambu, Joseph Kamau Kamere took over as Kenya's third Attorney General from James Karogo, who had served slightly over a year. Prior to his appointment, the London-trained lawyer had worked as a resident magistrate in Nakuru and Eldoret for 4 years before being appointed State Attorney in the Attorney General's chambers. He spent 3 years in this position up to 1968, then opened his own law firm in 1969. He was a low-key practice until his appointment as Attorney General. During his tenure, the Criminal Law Bill was passed, giving birth to the Criminal Procedure Code, which, among others, stipulated a jail term for anyone giving false statement to the police. Kamere also introduced the Banking Act on client confidentiality, with a 20,000 shillings fine or a year in jail imposed for contravening it. Also under his watch as AG, Kamere introduced a statute law, Miscellaneous Amendment Act of 1981, that increased the number of puisne judge, that is, a judge of a superior court who is not the head of the court, from 19 to 24. The move was aimed at speeding up the hearing of court cases. He also set up the Law Review Commission that came up with a succession law on inheritance. Kamere was not without friction with members of parliament who claimed most of his bills were defective, with some legislators casting doubt on them. They eventually called for debate over his competency and the effect this had on his duties as the country's AG. Kamere resigned in 1983 after a German businessman took him to court for improperly detaining his 2 luxurious cars. Kamere never held an elective seat. For the Cabinet, I'm Ben Troy Njue.
From the cabinets to the world of business, Betty Kiptum is in the studio with us. Betty, good evening.
Good evening to you, Muchuma. I know it's your birthday today. Happy birthday to you. You're looking dashing in emerald green. Well, let's give you the latest in the world of business now. My name is Betty Kiptum, as Muchuma just said. Farmers will now access crop insurance alongside their subsidized fertilizer following the launch of a pilot program by the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development in collaboration with agri-tech farms. The initiative seeks to shield smallholder farmers from the risks of climate change by embedding insurance directly into Kenya's National Fertilizer Subsidy Program.
Climate change is taking a toll on farm yields with new pest invasions affecting harvest. Smallholder farmers, who form the majority of producers, are particularly vulnerable. It is against this backdrop that the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, in partnership with agri-tech farms, has launched a climate resilience initiative that will integrate climate-smart insurance into the National Fertilizer Subsidy Program.
We saw the deep vulnerability of smallholder farmers facing climate change. And we believed that affordable, accessible crop insurance could offer real protection to them.
We have solutions. We should not be burdening our next generation, our children, with solutions that we can solve today. And what we're very proud to launch is a solution that we can implement today for our generation, so that our next generation can be solving new problems.
The reason why we have committed as a company with the $10 million investment over a 5-year period to ensure that we reach as many farmers that are possible, that are insured, so that we minimize the risks that farmers face.
This pilot will be rolled out during the 2025 long rain season across 11 counties, targeting over 250,000 farmers in its initial phase, with each farmer registered on the Kenya Integrated Agriculture Management Information System being offered insurance coverage upon purchase of at least 2 bags of subsidized fertilizer at a cost of 7,000 shillings.
The purpose of that farmer database is for everyone who want to help farmers, private sector, development partners, anybody who want to help farmers to onboard on that digital database.
Embedding insurance into every bag of fertilizer is a masterstroke. It ensures that the same product that helped our farmer grow also protects them when things do not go as planned.
We have to change the way we look at things. We have to de-risk, but we also have to cover the investments that our farmers are putting in place.
With less than 5% of farmers having access to formal insurance, the initiative, they say, will stabilize rural incomes and fostering long-term food security. Stacey Boit for Prime Edition.
My name is Salim Mvuria, the Cabinet Secretary, Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports. And I want to tell all Kenyans, Chan is here with us. I want to invite you to Kasarani so you can rally our Harambee Stars team. The tickets are affordable, 200, 500, 1,000. Harambee Stars is playing, Kenya is playing. Let's meet at Kasarani. Tuko pamoja.
And Lamin Camara with his first career goal.
Ni muda wa kuhesabu kwa ajili ya kusherekea fasili na asili ya soka barani Afrika. Ligi za ndani na magwiji wasiotambulika.
Mangeni Alvin anaichanja ndani uzuri. David!
Michuano ya CAF ya mataifa ya Afrika 2024 ni njia ya kuzindua kupanua mtandao wa wachezaji ulimwenguni. Timu itakayoshinda itazawadiwa dola za Marekani milioni 3.5 pamoja na kujivunia kulinyanyua kombe hilo. Pata manufaa zaidi kutoka kwa Chan 2024 mubashara na kipute cha kipekee kwenye runinga ya KBC Channel 1, mwenzio wa dhati michezoni.
Welcome back. You're watching the Business News on Prime Edition. Now, the government has secured 269 billion shillings for the first phase of the Nairobi Metropolitan Integrated Transport System. Prime Cabinet Secretary, that is Musalia Mudavadi, engaged with representatives of the G7 and Kenya's development partners to review the progress of priority pilot programs aimed at easing congestion along the Nairobi metropolitan area's transport corridors. The integrated transport system includes the Nairobi Railway Central Station project, supported by 2 BRT lines, commuter lines, and the standard gauge railway link from Syokimau to Nairobi Central Station, and will transport an estimated 30,000 persons per hour by 2030. Construction is set to commence by the end of 2025, with the project set for completion by 2027.
We now have a clearer perspective on how we can shift towards an investment partnership that will enable our joint catalytic projects anchored in infrastructure, sustainability, and opportunity to stimulate a new era of economic growth and prosperity for the Kenyan people.
As a first step towards a goal of achieving efficient evacuation of the estimated 30,000 persons per hour in the year 2030, with a joint resource mobilization target of 30th September 2025.
Mudavadi reaffirmed the government's commitment to decongest the city, saying once complete, users will experience safer and more efficient transport solutions. The first phase has a resource mobilization target of the end of September, with a funding gap of 283 billion shillings.
The total cost of the pilot Phase 1 projects is estimated at US dollars 3.9 billion. We have secured financing of 1.7 billion, that is about 44%, with the government's counterpart financing of 389 million US dollars. And this leaves a financing gap of 2.2 billion for the success of this phase of the prioritized projects.
For us on the UK side, we now that the expression of interest has gone out, we are waiting for replies, which we expect to receive by the end of August, and we hope that will then allow Kenya Railways to go ahead with RFPs on the technical side, but also will allow National Treasury to issue an RFP on the finance side, so that banks can start to begin offers and to start that negotiation process.
He said the strategic transport initiatives are designed to improve mobility, enhance accessibility, and promote a more sustainable and inclusive urban environment. Now, women entrepreneurs are set to be trained on financial literacy and business skills under the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Women Online course that seeks to promote entrepreneurship. Equity Group Managing Director James Mwangi says the 20-week program will see women entrepreneurs equipped with the tools and knowledge they need to excel in their business ventures.
Women-owned micro, small and medium enterprises face significant challenges accessing finance, with figures from the International Finance Corporation putting unmet demand for finance as high as 83%. Now, stakeholders in the financial sector are coming up with ways to improve financial inclusion in special interest groups like women entrepreneurs.
The number of women and youth we have trained, 2.5 million.
That wealth unlocking opportunities is mainly through household or family businesses, micro, small and medium enterprises. And I'm so glad that 72% of all our loans are to micro, small and medium enterprises, distinguishing ourselves.
Equity Bank, in partnership with IFC for the 10,000 Women program, seeks to offer upskilling opportunities to women entrepreneurs. Through the program, Equity Bank Kenya seeks to leverage its regional network and digital platforms to reach women entrepreneurs, providing them with the opportunity to gain valuable skills and access a global network of like-minded businesswomen. By empowering women entrepreneurs, the program is expected to contribute to the job creation, economic diversification, and inclusive growth of the country. Alanaoko, Prime Edition.
Now, you will, from next month, be able to buy or sell as little as one share of a listed firm on the Nairobi Securities Exchange. This shift comes after the Capital Markets Authority amended the equity trading rules, effectively scrapping the odd lot board, which has for years required investors to trade at least 100 shares.
In a post on his X account, Nairobi Securities Exchange CEO Frank Muti says the move is part of broader efforts to open up the stock market to more investors, especially young people and first-time traders who have often been locked out by high minimums. By allowing single-share trades, the Capital Markets Authority hopes to make the Nairobi Securities Exchange more inclusive, deepen liquidity, and align Kenya's markets with global trading norms. The reforms also mandate that the closing price of any listed stock will only be determined if at least 100 shares of a specific stock change in hands in session. If that threshold is not met, the system will revert to the previous average price. By doing this, the Nairobi Securities Exchange says this will help curb price manipulation as smaller trades become more common, ensuring markets maintain pricing accuracy. In addition, the single-share trading is expected to complement the rise of fintech platforms, enabling micro-investing and fractional share ownership. Ahead of the rollout, the Nairobi Securities Exchange is urging trading participants to inform their investors and adjust their systems accordingly. These changes will take effect from 1st August 2025. Ndutamo Kami for Prime Edition.
And across borders now, oil prices have slightly dropped as traders assess the impact of new European sanctions on Russian oil supplies, while they also worry about tariffs possibly weakening fuel demand as Middle East producers are raising output. Details of these and more in news from around the globe.
Brent crude futures dropped 10 cents to 69.18 cents a barrel by 6:55 GMT after settling 0.35% lower on Friday. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude was at 67.33 cents a barrel. U.S. tariffs on European Union imports are set to kick in on August the 1st, although the United States could secure a trade deal with the bloc, according to U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. Meanwhile, China saw an 11.7% increase in new foreign invested enterprises during the first half of 2025, according to official data. This growth highlights the nation's continued appeal for foreign capital, particularly in high-tech sectors like e-commerce, pharmaceuticals, and aerospace manufacturing. However, actual foreign direct investment in the same period dropped by 15.2% year-on-year, totaling 423.23 billion yuan, as reported by the Ministry of Commerce. The manufacturing sector saw 109.06 billion yuan in investment, with high-tech industries drawing 127.87 billion yuan. The service sector attracted 305.87 billion yuan, boosted by a remarkable 127.1% year-on-year surge in e-commerce services. Finally, Brazilian livestock industry experts have warned that U.S. President Donald Trump's proposed 50% tariff on all Brazilian exports, set to begin August 1st, would disproportionately affect American consumers. According to Mauricio Veloso, president of the Brazilian National Confined Livestock Association, Brazilian beef is essential to American markets because the current U.S. cattle population cannot meet domestic demand.
And that is the business news this evening. But before I close, I'd like to also wish Muna and Cecilia, who are part of the back-end team on this bulletin, a very happy birthday as well. From myself, Betty Kiptum, and the rest of the team on the business desk, have yourself a lovely evening. Bye-bye.
It starts with little moments of courage. To stepping out into the new world with confidence. Taking leaps of faith. Spreading your wings and soaring to new heights. Your mother's love is with you wherever you go. Stay soft. Nothing lasts like mom's love.
Wakenya wenzangu, this August, something big is happening. Chan 2024 is here, and Harambee Stars are ready to shine. Let us come together and support our boys as they fight for glory. From the first whistle to the last goal, let us cheer loud and proud. Tune in to KBC Channel 1 and let's cheer our boys. Because when Harambee Stars win, Kenya wins. Twende kazi, Team Kenya, all the way.
A grown woman who we took abroad to study, then she decides to get a baby and keep it a secret for God knows how long.
Don't owe you any explanation.
Are you Chris?
Unajua mimi ni nani? If you don't let me go right now, my friend, you are in trouble.
You need to come back. I feel like something bad is gonna happen.
Itisha alafu nilalishwe chini, wacha ika.
And thank you for staying with us. It is time for the latest from the world of sports with me, Bernard Okumu. And Judo Kenya Federation President Shadrack Maluki is the new president of the National Olympic Committee of Kenya NOC after beating his opponent Francis Mutuku during the national elections held today in Nairobi. Maluki garnered 15 votes out of 27 cast votes, while Mutuku had 12 votes. Frederick Moki has the details.
It is a new dawn for the National Olympic Committee of Kenya NOC after 27 federations finally took part in the delayed elections. Judo Kenya Federation President Shadrack Maluki, who was serving as the first NOC deputy president, carried the day, garnering 15 votes out of 27, winning the elections to become the new president.
The legacy will be ensuring that talent scouting, nurturing and development to the grassroots level is reached at the tender ages of our children. We need to have our children accessing all the sports facilities.
His opponent, Francis Mutuku, garnered 12 votes. Meanwhile, NOC executive member Barnaba Korir won the first deputy president seat with 15 votes, beating Anthony Ombok Jamal, who got 12 votes. Nashon Randiek won the second deputy president seat with 14 votes, beating Anthony Kariuki, who had 13 votes. John Ogola was unopposed as secretary general after his sole rival Andrew Mudibo was locked out of the contest. Francis Karugu had 14 votes to claim the deputy secretary general seat, beating Humphrey Kayange, who had 13 votes. Fred Shege beat Moses Mbuthia to win the treasurer's seat. Suleiman Sumba, Sasha Mutai and Jessilyn Nyambura were elected as committee members. Frederick Mwoki for Prime Edition.
And Kenya's opponents at the 2024 African Nations Championship CHAN are expected to start arriving in the country from Friday this week, 8 days to the start of the tournament to be co-hosted by Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania. Democratic Republic of Congo, Morocco, Zambia and Angola will be Harambee Stars' opponents in the group stage of the Continental event for local best players.
Following a final inspection of Kenya's hosting and training venues for the African Nation Championship, CAF has given the venues a green light to welcome the teams that will play in Group A of the tournament running from 2nd to 30th of August.
We are ready to host CHAN. Everything else that is required of us, we have done, and CAF has confirmed that we are making good progress. Right now, this week, we are taking through simulations on matter security. On Wednesday in particular, we will have a security simulation training, just basically also to ensure that we don't take anything for chance.
The teams, Zambia, DRC, Morocco and Angola, are expected to start arriving in the country from Friday this week, with Kenya playing DRC in the group's opening game on 3rd of August.
I can say that, as I said to you previously, that we can tick all the boxes, and we are excited to start this game on the 2nd of August. I wish just to call all the Kenyans to come in the stadium to support their team, because this event is to show to the world that we are ready to host the world in 2027.
A final assessment by CAF has approved the Kasarani and Nyayo stadiums plus the training venues that include Police Sacco Stadium, whose lighting system is now fully operational.
Polisi wanafanya kazi mingi sana katika Kenya, na mnaona tunatangamana na wananchi, na kupitia sports tunataka kubuild a proper working relationship between us and the public.
19 nations will compete for the title of the tournament that is currently in the hands of Senegal.
And still on matters soccer, where the national soccer team Harambee Stars has withdrawn from the CECAFA Four Nations Pre-CHAN tournament scheduled to begin today in Karatu, Arusha, Tanzania. Now, in a statement, the Football Kenya Federation, FKF, said the decision was made following recommendations and advice from the team's technical bench led by head coach Benny McCarthy. The Federation explained that after a thorough assessment of the prevailing conditions, it was deemed unsuitable for the team's participation and preparation ahead of the upcoming Africa Nations Championship CHAN. The team, which had already arrived in Arusha, is now expected to return home to continue its CHAN preparations. As Stars were initially scheduled to face Uganda in their opening match this evening. The tournament will now proceed with 3 teams that host Tanzania, Uganda and Senegal. Continentally, the race for the Women's Africa Cup of Nations WAFCON crown reaches the semi-final stage tomorrow, with 4 of the continent's top teams set to clash in Morocco. Now, in the first high-stakes showdown, 11-time champions Nigeria will take on defending champions South Africa at 7 p.m. tomorrow at Labi Zaouli Stadium in Casablanca. Later, hosts Morocco will face Ghana at 10 p.m. in Rabat. Both Nigeria and South Africa come into the match unbeaten, heightening the anticipation for the encounter. Nigeria advanced with the dominant 5-0 win over Zambia in the quarterfinals, while South Africa edged out Senegal 4-1 in a penalty shootout. Meanwhile, Morocco topped Group A and stunned Mali with a 3-1 victory, and Ghana secured their semi-final spot by defeating Algeria 4-2 via penalties. Catch the action live on KBC Channel 1 tomorrow beginning at 7 p.m.
Shemak. And here they come again. This is an easy chance to get the opener. Morocco.
And finally, Oliver Solberg followed in the footsteps of his world champion father Peter, claiming a stunning maiden FIA World Rally Championship title at Delphi Rally, Estonia on Sunday evening. Now, the 23-year-old Swede stunned the WRC elite, sealing his breakthrough win on debut in a Toyota GR Yaris car nearly 20 years after Peter's final WRC success in 2005. He was 25.2 seconds faster than local hero and 2019 world champion Oitanak, who finished second, while Thierry Neuville settled for third position, 23.1 seconds behind Tanak. The WRC now heads to round 9 in the Sector Rally Finland, set for 31st of July through to the 3rd of August.
13 seconds behind with 2 stages to go. Last trial.
Here we go.
It's
then.
unbelievable!
2.5 years since the last Rally 1 outing.
Maiden WRC victory. But there was one last surprise for the young Swede. His 13th top-tier WRC start, claiming an outstanding victory. 20 years.
Well, and that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Bernard Okumu. Have a restful evening.
And on that note, we've come to the end of Channel 1 Prime Edition tonight. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for your company on our social media platforms. And thank you so much for the birthday wishes. I shared this birthday with my colleague Muna and Cecilia, and we are humbled. I am Muchuma Odim. Our sign language expert tonight is Anne Wangeshi. Till some other time, God bless you.
My name is Salim Vuria, the Cabinet Secretary, Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports, Republic of Kenya. Dear Kenyans, we are ready to host CHAN 2024 tournament.